Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dreamboat, joined as always by GL Phoenix, and we have reached the end, Phoenix. We are here for the AAOL Esports Bronze Final of Division 2 between Silence and PPE Bot Squad.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interesting match. It's been a long and arduous event. It's been a lot of fun, some ups and downs, and as you mentioned, we are at the end. And one of these teams is going to come away with third place in the Div 2. And yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. It's going to be a best of 3. We're going to be starting out on Lijiang, going over to Eichenwald, and if need be, I believe we'll be going to Hanamura.
Hey there.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be a fun one if we go all the way. We'll see if we can hit the full distance. But of course, we do start here on Lijiang Tower. Of course, a great place to start things out, especially outside, sitting below the pagoda. I think that's a pagoda. Is that a pagoda?
Yes, seems pagoda-ish. Very
pagoda-ish.
It has all the hallmarks of a pagoda.
Okay, good. I was worried for a second. I was mistaking like pagoda and like teepees. So that's. I'm glad.
Anyway, well, we are into the match as both teams are having a bit of an engagement right off the bat. Josh is going to get the first entry onto the kill feed, which was just a mech, but Motion does get a kill for himself, and it looks like Silence on the blue going to be able to get the better of the bot squad in this first fight.
And now Jam Jar popping off right there, picking up a couple nice kills, taking out his rival Pharaoh and the Widowmaker for good measure. That is going to slow them down from coming back in whatsoever. As PP Bot Squad just being zoned out right now, being spaced quite nicely.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit before they can actually get in. Have to see how they try and make their way. They do have the Widow to try and deal with that Pharaoh in the skies, which is what they need to have any way onto the point, as they are just going to come in close quarters, but Vero gets a kill onto Bozot, so that gives him a little bit of extra room for the bot squad to make their way onto the point.
They are still trying to engage it out. No kills have really come in yet, but a lot better spacing for PP Bot Squad. They've pushed them quite a ways back, but the health is starting to fall for them. Loot Cat going down to Ghost is a massive pick. He's looking for a few more, and they will demech the Diva and clean up the kill as well. Jam Jar doing so much work right now, cleaning everybody up, and that's going to be a full team kill. There's nothing left they can do. This has managed to stay Silence's way.
Yeah, it was a great entry into the fight, taking down the Sombra, so she was not going to be a factor. Gave a little bit of room over to the bot squad to make their way through, but very solid defensive play from Silence, is backing away, and then when they saw the opportunity, re-engaging and really taking those fights incredibly well. And now we have to see how the bot squad come in for their second run through. They do have a couple of ultimates to work with. Going up against an EMP, that could shut it down immediately, as we do have the engagement right away here, Dreamboat.
Vero getting the opening pick onto Jam Jar is a good start, and the one that potentially PP Bot Squad need. They need to start finding the rest of these kills, though. It's been slow going. They're just not able to find anything thus far. They're zoning them off the point, and they do have a lot of ultimates on their side to use should they elect to do so. And finally, they will demech the Diva, but Ghost, he's picked off Tiger Bro. These kills are still not going the way of PP Bot Squad, and now they're starting to use ults for it, Phoenix.
Yeah, they have started to use them, but they are losing some of their key members. But they are managing to force it to overtime, which Silence are going to be quite happy with, as here comes the Rocket Barrage out of Jam Jar, able to take out the Mercy, which is going to be a massive boon for the rest of this fight. The McCree comes in with the Deadeye, does take care of Jam Jar after all the work he's done, but it's not going to be enough. He is the last one available, and the first point is going to be very strongly held by the team of Silence.
And that's just an interesting case there, where despite having a lot of tools at the hand of PP Bot Squad, they just weren't doing a good job of focusing kills overall, Phoenix. They weren't able to find any of these low players when they started to get there, and great job, don't get me wrong, by Silence's supports, keeping them alive, but their inability to convert kills and convert some of the damage done is going to be a storyline we need to follow into this next segment.
Yeah, and that's one key point, is securing those kills, because when we saw Silence taking control of fights, it was because they were very coordinated in picking apart the bot squad as they tried to engage, and then just taking all these individual fights with significant man advantages. And as you mentioned, that is going to be an important factor moving forward.
Well, yeah, the first engagement and a lot of point presence has been taken by PPE bot squad. They need to start finding kills again. They're doing good damage early onto Jershi, but they weren't able to convert that. Good heals, keeping him alive. Now they're still trying to engage their way in here, but a great job mitigating this damage so far by Silence. This has been a very lengthy engagement and no one has fallen yet.
Ooh, Earthshatter gets completely blocked out, and that's going to give a nice amount of room over to Silence. Sure, the point has been secured by the bot squad, but they do actually lose Jamjar. A lot of ultimates are now being invested on all sides. Both Brigittas, both Moiras are just throwing them out. Earthshatter gets dropped, doesn't get much purchase, so a lot of ultimates being thrown left and right, but it looks like the bot squad might be able to hold on.
Jershi will fall late, as does Bozit, so that's the Reinhardt and Brigitte down. Tough ones to lose late, and that's going to stunt them out, but it looks like PP Bot Squad are going to be able to grind up to at least 50% here. It's their first actual set of kills.
Yeah, and here comes the Graviton. They don't necessarily have the best of follow-ups in terms of ult combos, but they do manage to take down a couple just with sheer presence, and this is going to just be a complete wipe, and it looks like Bot Squad, they are really playing this nice and aggressively, not allowing Silence any chance onto the point.
Again, very far back in spawn right now with Silence. They need to try and break on through. They're getting right in with the early engagement. That was going to be an Earthshatter. That got completely denied by the Reinhardt. We have the rest of these ults starting to be used from both sides. Motion will get the first pick off that Lucio onto the Reinhardt. And now the follow-up kills are starting to come through. Jersey's going to remove the Diva from the playing field. And they're looking to carry through the Riptire, picking off two. And Silence has struck back with a vengeance, capping this point back out.
Yeah, they are going to get delayed just a little bit by the Lucio, but they're able to cleanly secure that and get themselves the point. 81% for the side of the bot squad, so they're in a pretty decent position. They have a good amount of ultimates coming in. They are going to use the armor up, or the rallying up, so they can have a whole bunch of armor coming into this engagement, as does the Coalescence, and an Earthshatter gets dropped. They do manage to put the Brigitte down onto the floor, but here comes a mega explosion to try and open up the space. They don't get anything, but because of how Silence did react to it, they are able to get right onto the point, take down Jamjar, and they might be able to go straight back onto the point and secure it for themselves.
Good delays coming out here from Jershi and Motion so far. Jershi should fall, and ultimately Motion should too, and this could be a very late stagger. In fact, it will be. So not only are they going to cap back, the staggering is so late, and they stagger Boza too. Oh my lord, you can't let him fall there. They're also going to catch the Moira in here.
Yeah, well, Moira could be a little bit more elusive in that regard, but they have to get onto the point. They have to just rush through. Safety be damned, they are going to have a Graviton to try and contest with, but they have got members onto the point. They're fighting on multiple fronts, but because of how just frantically they needed to make it towards the point, the side of Silence, they're just not in a cohesive unit right now. They're just getting picked apart one by one here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, they've tried to get on the point. It is being capped. They have a Reinhardt who can get there. They'll be able to stall this out a little bit longer, potentially, as the Earthshatter coming down, but it doesn't find anything. He can't get to the point. In the end, PPE Bot Squad pull it back. We're going to the third segment.
Yeah, and really night and day going, looking at the two rounds we've had so far. In the first one, Silence just completely controlled it, and it looked like the Bot Squad weren't able to get really anything done, but in that second round on the control center, they just dictated the pace, or just controlled the space so much better, and it looked completely different.
We go to the third and final zone. Just basking in, I should say, the lovely views here, Phoenix. And then soon we shall bask in the bloodbath. The hounds have been released! And here they go.
Alrighty, and we do have Ghost back onto the hamster, the Wrecking Ball. So I'm interested to see how this one goes, but they also have a lot of verticality to work with as well. They have the pharmacy, and looking at the goats combination, they are going to have a tough time potentially dealing with that, the Farah in the skies, and already they have lost their Brigitte, and even though they're on the point, there's not really much to fight for just yet, as only now the point is unlocked.
Oh, Ghost doing a great job finding a couple kills. And Jamjar is going to clean up the last one. So once again, the very first cap going back to Silence. We've alternated map to map, but he's continuing on as Jamjar finding more kills. And they're going to stagger a couple of these very late. Great job by Silence collapsing onto those remaining players. They've now got a fairly forward hold. They should be able to zone these guys back. And this is a very nice start to this third and final segment.
Yeah, and one thing I just wanted to know is that we have cast Silence in the past, and I noticed because Ghost was one of those players who I really appreciated on the Wrecking Ball, as Jamjar trying to get real aggressive there, but gets cleaned up immediately. A great Earth Shatter, and they might be able to pick up anyone with the follow-up, but they're just not there. Great. Sound Barrier keeps the rest of the team alive, and the EMP as well. And even though they did lose a member right at the start, well, I say that now they're just getting cleaned up here, Dreamboat.
So many tools expunged, but they didn't find any of the kills. These got picked apart. Did a great job by PPE bots mitigating that damage. Now they do have Ghost on the point with the adaptive shields and Bozet on the Sombra, or no longer Bozet, I should say, trying to delay it out. So they have bought quite a bit of time. They're already up to 60%. Motion's in there now doing what he can on this Lucio. He's done a great job of so far. But it looks like it'll be capped through maybe. Great job delaying. I do have to give them credit. They eat that out from about 30% all the way through to 65. So really nice by Silence.
Yeah, just getting that little bit of extra percentage, which is going to be potentially really important as we get later and later into this round. But now that Bot Squad are able to set up a defense, we'll just see how they play around it. Bozot is on the back lines, just looking for an opportunity, just scouting out, giving the rest of the team the information that they need to make this engagement, as they're just going to go right in, and the Brigade is going to be the first one to go down. But Vero really starting to pop off on this round with his Zarya to zap people left, right, and center, and that's going to stunt that attack before it can get anything done there, Dribo.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice opening. Oh my lord, Sultan Vero going off. Picks off the super late Mercy pick, and that's a huge stagger. It's gonna delay things up. Sultan has just spawned. That was a massive kill.
Yeah, and Vero really just putting in the hard yards on this round in particular, but have to see if they can keep this up. They are just about to equalize the amount of percentage that Silence were able to gain, and with this next engagement, have to see how it goes. Jamjar does have a rocket barrage. See if it goes better than the previous one, as they already take down the Brigitte, which has happened yet again. Jamjar does manage to get one with the rocket barrage, gets taken down quite quickly after it, as the fight is going to keep on continuing on the point here, Dreambo.
They are on this point, and there comes the EMP, but it doesn't matter. Shoot him a grab, picks off two, picking up Lucio and the Winston. A couple nice picks as Ghost is Chen back in with one of his own. But again, it looks like PPE bots are not going to give this point up. As the pause is coming in, called by Vero. Interesting.
Yeah, probably just some net connectivity issues. The standard ANZ there in the chat, Veros is saying that he's having a little bit of lag, which is unfortunate. I'll be able to get back into the game very shortly, but this is a really unfortunate time to pause for multiple reasons. One, because it is a very tense fight in this game, and another one, because where my camera is, I have Sombra's SMG continuously rattling off in my ear.
Well, yes, I mean, the best part of any pause in Overwatch is the continuous sound that you get. Sombra's SMG is, of course, absolutely fantastic, and I totally don't have my headphones sitting around my neck right now, just trying to mitigate that while still being able to hear
it's
what...
my left ear. So I just have to remove...
It's a bit in my right, just from where I'm positioned. But the pause is over, the spray is over as well, and unfortunately, unless we can see some heroics from Silence, this segment in this map look to be almost over as well.
Yeah, and with the rally up, they are going to have a good amount of armor coming into this next defense, and even though Silence are trying to make their way onto the point, they do proc the overtime, but they are just so disjointed in their approach that they aren't really getting too much done. The minefield is going to get put out, but they're not able to get too much more out of that with the team being so split up here, Dreamboat.
The Air Shatter will connect on two as well, so that was a nice... good set there, but they've jumped off the point. They need to get back in here. Diva Bomb did a great job zoning them off, but it's going to be all okay. They are managing to get in here, but no one has found kills yet. Great damage being done to PPE bots, but they need to confirm it, and they're not doing it, Phoenix. Tiger Bro finding the next kill on to the Sombra is massive. Here comes Jamjar, and he doesn't find anything either. This is falling apart for Silence.
Yeah, they have been so good at dealing with the Pharaoh whenever she goes for that rocket barrage. A great engagement there from Ghost on the Wrecking Ball, but there's just nothing there to follow it up with. They're staying alive an incredible amount of time. The sustainability and durability is keeping them alive, but that's all it's doing, is keeping them alive. They're not making any progress, and it is going to be finally secured, and the bot squad, they are going to be able to take the first map.
Ho ho ho, man, there was a chance there, I felt. It was a sliver of a window, but it was a chance. Great job of them getting back onto that point. But in the end, PPE bot squad is just too much to overcome on that point. And I'm looking at this play of the game. It was all right. Sometimes the play of the game blows me away. Sometimes it's like, yeah, it's okay.
It's a very solid play. You can't really discount the amount of work that Reinhardt was putting in that round. Got multiple Earth Shatters out before his direct opposition. So really nicely done there from the Reinhardts. There were quite a few block shatters, but you got to throw them, I guess. So if they block it, good on them. If they don't block it, well, you just completely win a fight. So yeah, you win some, you lose some when it comes to the Reinhardt shatters. But really nicely done there from bot squad. Really turn around what seemed like a very strong start from Silence on that first round, but yeah, bot squad really turned it.
And reading chat, I understand why bot squad is called bot squad, because player has to use mobile for internet, and they have like 3 laggers. That is probably the most uniquely Australian thing I have ever seen. Because you guys have the world's best internet service providers, as we all are well aware of at this point. Through a full season of me pointing it out once a week, it feels like for AOE. One day, guys, one day, I swear to you, I thought Canada had terrible internet, and then we finally got fiber. I believe one day you guys will join real world countries with, yeah, you will join the 21st century with your internet. I believe. That's a dreamboat guarantee.
One day. Anyway, we are just waiting for some of the players to sort out their net issues as we're getting ready for map 2. And it's going to be on, as I mentioned, Iconvolt, and if the bot squad are able to take this, they will secure this whole series and secure the 3rd place in Division 2 here.
Yeah, and if you're wondering who we are, I'm Dreamboat, joined by GL Phoenix. You can follow me on Twitter at DreamboatCasts, and especially if you have anything to do with the new Vancouver Overwatch League team, because I'm a BC boy. And you can also give Phoenix a follow at GLPhoenix_, I think.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, I got that right. Sometimes I get that wrong, so I'm glad I got it right. And we have, of course, here.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Then it's just Cyber Waste. He's useless anyways. He's not even here tonight. I mean, what's going on with that? But we are here, of course, for the AAOL Season 4 Div 2 Bronze game. Silence versus PPE bots. And the PPE bot squad took map number 1. Here we go, map number 2, Phoenix. We have the picks starting to come in. A full minute for us to wait before we get into the festivities that is this map.
Yeah, and we will have the bot squad on attack first. We will probably get to see what kind of defense that Silence wants to put up, and from what they're hovering so far, looking like a lot of displacement in almost everyone in that lineup.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I like how Jamjar just keeps trying to kill himself onto this tower, and you know, Saltem just keeps healing it up. Jamjar, don't be so suicidal, bro.
To be fair, that's like every Mercy or every just support player in general is just, alright, I'll give you the heals while you try and kill yourself. That's just the support life. You're trying to keep your idiot DPS alive as they
see, I was always a dick, and I'd let him die at the very beginning just because he still had time to come back. It was always great. His reactions were always priceless. But you know what else is priceless? Fantastic Overwatch, and I think that's what we're going to get here as we are finally moving through. Vero is taking a long-range duel with Jamjar up on those pharmacy combos. Looking around, seeing where they can find anything, and a great job getting through the opening area so far, but it doesn't mean much if Dr. Mackerel is going to fall to Bozet on the Junkrat, doing a great job. We have to find a few more kills here, though, if this defense wants to remain holding this point.
And we also have the Sombra on the back lines, just drawing some of the attention of the defenders, making it so they can fight on multiple fronts. But so far, this defense has been holding strong, not getting torn apart by the potential Sombra play. We have to see how much further the bot squad can make it through, as this solid defense is looking pretty good right now.
Ghost is a little bit low on health. He's going to have to use the big old Roadhog self-healing. But Dr. Mackerel has fallen once again. Will be rezzed, but now Luke Catgirl getting picked off. So that's a huge pick onto the Mercy. Down goes Vero as well, and this defense is looking quite nice thus far. There's just a mini diva on the point. Going to be cleaned up with ease, as we have PPE bot squad retreating one more time.
Yeah, and now we get into the second, third, fourth pushes. We're starting to see some of the ultimates picked up, as we see on the defensive side. We only don't have the whole hog, so they have so many tools to work with. Whereas on the other side, they're kind of struggling a little bit to efficiently charge up some of their ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, they just haven't had as many of them up as they probably should right now, and we'll see how it impacts them in this fight, because sometimes less is more. You can do more with yet less, but that AT is going to come in. That's going to deny a lot of this, as Vero has now picked off the Riptire. I'm not sure I'd counter-alt the Riptire with that, but he is getting work done regardless right now, as a few more kills have fallen for this defense. Bozit, though, he's done a lot of work, is going to demech and destroy the Diva. Jamjar will follow motion down too. This is looking like this offense finally getting its wheels under it. Bozat is still here though, doing all kinds of work on this Junkrat, finding many a kill, as his Ghost on the whole hog will be picked off in the end. And it looks like maybe this cap will finally come in, but the spawns are back here. Bozat's still chiming it in, and Jershi has chimed in with his own one. And somehow, that has become an absolute miracle of a hold, Phoenix.
Yeah, somehow they managed to just scrap their way through. It was a great start to the fight from the bot squad, able to take out the Orisa, not allow her to get anything done in that fight. And as you mentioned, deny the Riptide with the missile barrage. Sure, not the best one for one trade of ultimates, but it was able to do so much more work elsewhere, as Jamjar doesn't get anything out of it, just completely knocks himself around, as this is going to give so much space over to the offense to make the way onto the point.
And he died so far back, it's not like he's a res candidate or anything, so he's down for the count. We do have motion trying to be kept alive by Saltum right now. These two supports doing everything they can, but Jershi has fallen. Ghost using the whole hog, not able to find anything off of that one. Jershi will be able to be rezzed out here. But Saltum in now, motion at both fallen. Tiger Bro on the McCree, he picks up both supports. Will be falling to Jamjar, who's also demech the Diva. This is a very scrappy fight right now. We need to see these tank players doing immense work. There's still supports though for the offense, and that should be the difference maker in this fight. Riptire not able to find anything. Jershi has to fall back. The cap will in fact come in, Phoenix, as PPE bot squad. They take it down to the last minute, but they cannot be denied.
Yeah, as long as you capture it in the end, that's all that really matters. And they do manage to pick it up for themselves. It was a very scrappy fight, but taking down those supports right earlier that fight, Tiger Bro doing so much work. Again, getting another kill. Jamjar kind of struggling in this defense. Getting himself caught out, or just getting picked off, taking himself down with some of those rocket barrages. Is not having the best of performances here on this Pharah in this particular round.
They are looking around, seeing what he can find, and that's a great anti onto the Diva, so the Diva has been demeched, as Bozit now on the Widowmaker is going to get a lot of the damage in on that one. Jamjar picking up Tiger is another big pick. A couple ults coming out here. It's actually just a primal range, but again, the anti is so strong. It caught 3 people in that one. Should be cleaned up. Vero was one of them, but he's still somehow going to be living out here. Dr. Mackerel is also going to clean up a support, and the Mercy's in a lot of trouble. This is a really rough spot for them to be in. He's antied again, and he's going to finally jump out as this fight has ended. But that could have been very bad for Silence.
Yeah, but they do manage to hold on quite nicely. It's been very hit and miss with how some of the players have been performing, but Tiger Bro has been really stepping up in this round. When it was on the McCree, allowing them to walk onto the point, taking down the supports, and now over to the Widow is going to try and get a lot of space open for the rest of the team. Again, Jamjar, It's incredibly hit and miss by Jamja on this Pharah. Sometimes he's been making some good plays, taking out some members at the start of fights, and then he kills himself twice with the missile barrage.
Jershi has picked off Kalstein, so that is going to force a res, and Jershi's actually got Vero too. So again, this defense doing a good job initiating, finding a few picks right off the bat, and kind of stunting this offense before it can even really get its feet under them for a push.
And we'll have to see how much further they can go. Tiger Bro does manage to give themselves a little bit more space, taking down their opposite number. But it's seeming like this defense is going to be able to hold strong. The rest of the bot squad just aren't able to stick around and keep this pressure going, as it looks like Silence might be able to get a very solid defense here before even halfway of this point B.
Yeah, and I mean, we do have their final Hail Mary of initiation coming in. Ultis are being used, but they're not finding anything thus far. Here comes the Diva Bomb, not going to find anything either. The counter one's coming in, that forces the supports off their positioning, and that's going to allow the Winston to get right on the top, but the Dragon Blade from Vero has found 2 kills. This defense is starting to be picked apart. Jersey's chiming back in with one of his own, but they need to continue to find these picks. They need to find something here, and they are starting to fall. It looks like the push will come through. There's a last stand Primal Rage right now from Jersey, batting them around, swatting them around, trying to knock anyone he can, but he'll be cleaned up too. As PPE bot squad, again, they grind it down to overtime, but they start pushing through.
Yeah, they need to stick to this light glue, and coming across the bridge, it could be a very, very risky proposition. They do have the Valkyrie being popped, so they can have a little bit more healing, as it looks like this defense is starting to pick up some steam. Jamjar getting a couple of kills for himself, as the rest of the supporting cast of Science is able to get a bit of work done, as I say that, a couple of kills being returned over, and it's just trading back and forth here, Dreamboat, as they need to stick to this point and try and get it to point B.
Oh, but that Diva Bomb is going to potentially be enough. No, it's not. Actually, it only picked off Kalstein. And Jersey has finally fallen. It's just Ghost and Saltum here on the point, doing anything they can to buy any of their time, and they will fall in the end. Motion and Jamjar now have joined the fray, and they are both going to be cleaned up too. It's now Bozit on the Tracer trying to delay, but they can delay no more. The cap has come in, Phoenix.
Yeah, and yet again, as it was with the first point, they managed to go all the way down to the line, or down to the wire, and secure it with very little time remaining. That time all the way through to overtime. But they do have a little bit of time to work with coming in through the castle to see how this defense holds up. Has switched over to the Reinhardt, but here comes Vera again with the Dragon Blade, trying to get some work done onto the back line, but doesn't get anything. Sultan switching over to the Moira is going to be able to take care of the Genji, and this is going to be a good fight for them. Maybe hold on for just a little bit longer, as they are just running down the rest of this offensive side. It's solidly done here from Silence.
Yeah, they are almost coaching it out. Boasted is on the Junkrat, doing everything he can to find some kills. But a really great job, really smart switches. I think that Moira one is a really underrated swap, especially how it negated the Genji, and that actually forces Vero to swap because of it.
Yeah, and it is much more close quarters once we get into this third point, so we do start to see more of those styles where you are going to be brawling close quarters, as we're going to get a bit of a trade early on in this fight. But the rest of bot squad, they need to get onto the point, but the defense is holding strong for now. Jersey is very deep, and he's just holding it left click, hoping to get as much done with this Reinhardt. Force away the rest of the offense, as the Moira does have to just shade right in onto the point, but it's not going to be enough, as the rest of the bot squad are going to get cleaned up, but they do manage to take the point for just a little bit longer, but it looks like that's not going to be enough, and Silence will manage to hold them out before they get all the way.
Yeah, they're finally just brawling right back. Oh no, they actually got the Tracer through. That's bought them a bit more time. They're somehow buying even more space, but they will finally be it. Silence finally hold it through. And that's what you want to see if you are a Silence fan. You want to see them stonewall them there on that third point, not let them get too deep at all. However, Silence, I mean, they looked good on our first map, and they got close, and they couldn't finish. Now we have a case of PP Bot Squad with that push, got close, but couldn't finish. But can Silence match it?
We'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we have seen some very solid performance out of Bot Squad when they have been on the defensive side. We saw it when we were on Lijiang Tower, but for the side of Silence, it's really hard to tell because we've seen good and bad, and I won't necessarily say bad, but some questionable play from some of the players on the side of Silence. But you never know when we get into the game.
Yeah, I mean, that one ult stands out firmly in my mind right by the bridge before the first point, where he tried to drop down behind them, didn't drop down low enough, and ulted into the wall and just completely shredded himself.
One thing I will say is that Jamjar, without the rocket barrage, has been doing incredibly well.
He's been insane without it. He's like
Jamjar with the rocket barrage seems like a weirdly different player.
30 seconds.
And he has had some impact with it. Don't get me wrong. When they were trying to stall out second point on that bridge, he managed to pop the ult and picked off the Mercy, which was a very nice opener. So he has had some times where he's had good moments with it, but based on what like his full body of work looks like, it's a little surprising to say the least.
I will say though, we did see it on Lijiang Tower that the bot squad, they were able to deal with the Pharah rocket barrage incredibly well in a lot of those fights, whether it be the D.Va just immediately just honing in, or just anyone just like going straight up to force the Pharah of Jamjar to essentially just knock himself out. So although there have been some rather questionable rocket barrages, I will say that bot squad do deal with it incredibly well, which has made it much harder for Jamjar to get those picturesque rocket barrages that we'd like to see from him.
Well, Jershi has found a nice opener on to Dr. Mackerel. He will be rezzed up, of course, in good old Mercy fashion, but he should be picked off very quickly once again. Will actually manage to escape, but Vero is not so lucky. Jamjar picking him off, doing continued work, and the health is a lot worse right now on bot squad, but they're still finding these kills. Kelsation doing a lot of work they're finding too. It's only motion chiming back. And this is not really what you want on this push. They still somehow zoned them quite far back though. They're gonna find a tick, which is a bit of a consolation prize. But really? The health isn't great. Some of these players off the point. They might actually find some more kills here.
Yeah, they've just been able to zone control incredibly well and pick apart the parts or the separated members of the defense that have been allowing them much more time on the point. And yeah, they've been trading back and forth. Here comes the sound barrier to keep the rest of the team alive, but the side of Silence, they are just doing incredibly well, and it's a very efficient push coming out from them, and they're going to be able to get this with quite a bit of time to work with and a lot of resources as well, only investing the sound barrier.
We actually have a continued engagement getting in very deep as Jersey's bombed forward. I think this will be a short-lived fight, although Ghost is there with Jamjar. I don't reckon that they'll like to continue in on this one too much. Yes, actually, that's a very nice pick from Vero. The res will come out, of course, but a nice job nonetheless. But what we saw there from Silence is something that I like to coach, like TF2 teams on, is focus fire. What sets bad teams from good ones is focuses, and they focus them so well, using good tools as well as Ghost DMX the D.Va picking up Dr. Mackerel. But all of those kills coming in, it's a complete team kill. Silence just do such a strong job, especially in that last fight and in that finally that engagement there, of focusing down, isolating players, and finding the kills. And if they can continue to do that, they should be able to roll through this map.
Yeah, and they did have to use 3 ultimates to get that to really stick, and on the other side they have a lot coming in for the backswing, but they have had a few swaps when it comes to the composition, as they're going to jump straight onto Silence, trying to force them away from the point, and it looks like it's not working out just yet, as we're just trading back and forward, but the payload is still moving throughout a lot of this play here, Dreamboat.
It is inching its way forward. Deadeye's gonna come in. It doesn't actually manage to find anything off of that one. I'll demark the D.Va, that's something. And Ghost will fall, as will Jershi, so the defense has put up the wall for now, as Assaultum is down a pit. And Motion's just gonna jump off a pit, so pits, man.
Yeah, a lot of jumping into pits, apparently, in this game. A lot of just self-inflicted deaths, as it was a really nice push coming out from Silence. They have a lot of time to work with. And they needed to start building up some of their ultimates coming in, because when they have their ultimates, they do seem like a much different team. And now Gemjar is over on the Genji, not going with the Pharah, as they are going to try and make their way back onto the point. No one going down yet, as just see how this defense comes in for the side of the bot squad.
Not the best diva bomb, but it will, of course, demech the other diva, as it always seems to do. And they've actually found kills off of that Jam Jar moving through, picking up 3, shredding the defenses, grabbing both supports, and of course Bozet, who's been on fire, will ring the bell for a team kill. They're going to be able to cap out point 2, and now with quite a bit of time, they don't need to move this payload particularly far.
They're trying to stall it out just a little bit, but they're actually going to be able to get there just in time. Even the mech explosion is going to be invested to stall it out for as long as possible. They're able to get Bozet on the Sombra, and the rest of the team is going to be there to help out, so they might be able to stall this point out for just a little bit longer here, Dreamboat.
Yeah, they've done a good job delaying, but they need to continue to find these kills, which has gone Ghost and Jam Jar's way. They're still in here. They can be countered a decent bit, but Ghost is shredding this entire team, finding a 4K in that engagement. There's just a Tracer there, and of course he's gonna get it too. Ghost almost getting a team kill by himself.
Yeah, when everyone's stacking up on the point there, and you're in close quarters, the Diva can get a lot of work done. And as you mentioned, they don't have all that much far to go. You can even see it from the doorway, how far they need to make it. They just need to get around the corner, and this defense needs to hold strong, or else we're going into a game 3 as the Dragon Blade is going to get popped. Take down both supports. The third support, I should say, as well. He's going to just slice through the entirety of this bot squad defense, and this looks like this could just be secured right here, Dreamboat.
And guess what, boys and girls? We're going to map 3. Hanamura, here we come.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one, and that was just incredibly done there from Jamjar. When he went over to that Genji, he started slicing people up left, right, and center, and it was really not. I mean, his barrel was really good, but once he went on to the Genji, it seemed like the boss squad just didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah, and it didn't help things as well. I mean, the Genji pick was a fantastic move, but man, Ghost, I gotta give a shout out to that man. Like I said earlier, he had a pick had a push that was basically a team kill all by himself. He was having high impact in all of those engagements on that offense, and was definitely a big reason why we are going to Hanamura.
Yeah, and there's been some big plays on both sides. I mean, we've been looking at Jamjar because a lot has been swinging either negatively or positively on how he has been performing. But on the other side, Tiger Bro, I just want to point out for Bot Squad, has been doing so much work on the DPS. When we saw him on the McCree, he was cleaning up those high priority targets. And when he went over to the Widow, he was also getting a fair amount of work done. So it's looking like it's going to be, well, at least for me, between Jamjar and Tiger Bro, who's going to be able to control this next map.
And I think I saw someone drop from the lobby, so we might be having a small delay before we get into this one. But man, oh man, 2 maps in the book, 1 for each team. This has gone both ways, and now I think they're finally ready for us to go all the way. We're going full Overwatch, full best of 3, Hanamura, and honestly, you know, if Silence's offense can look what it looked like there on Eichenwald, this could be a short third map. But it's a very different beast. We're not pushing a cart, Phoenix. We're capping points.
It is an incredibly different beast, and I'm really not sure what to expect because, as I mentioned, there's been some good parts for both teams. There's been some not so good parts to a lot of their play as well. So, yeah, it really depends on. I feel as though the composition, like how do you, what kind of read do you have on your opponent when it comes to defense and offense? Like, do you expect them to be running a specific composition, and are you able to deal with that? I feel that is what it's going to be making the big difference here, because in terms of like straight skill level, these teams are quite evenly matched.
Picks are starting to come in on heroes. What kind of a defense we are going to be seeing here? It will be Silence defending first. Saltem goes Widow, jumps off a cliff. Standard DPS stuff, you know. Even though he's a support. Standard DPS stuff.
Standard DPS stuff. Well, who's just playing the role of a DPS? He's like, oh, look at me, I'm a DPS. He sends himself into the ravine. He's like, oh, yep, that's typical DPS stuff.
I like how they are requesting music, the teams are for the end of the game. I love it. I love it. Probably my favorite thing about Overwatch is how we can actually interact with players and spectate. And I've always been impressed how some of these guys have just shown some really solid personality and seem like just some stand-up guys. Because Overwatch is a beautiful game with beautiful people. But you know what else is beautiful? Winning maps, winning rounds, and winning games, and we're going to see which team can be victorious here as we are in this first engagement. Jersey picked up very early by Shooter McGrav as PPE bot squad getting a nice opening pick on this push. He will be demexed though and cleaned up, so this is starting to go back the other way with a quick kill coming in. Phoenix a very close fight here.
Yeah, they are starting to make their way towards the point, forcing the fight into a little bit more closed area, and it looks like the Reinhardt is going to start swinging left and right, and that's going to be the big difference maker because Joshi went down so early in that fight. They didn't have that front line, that big frontal presence, and it really made a difference, and it allowed the bot squad to just run straight onto the point, and yeah, they're able to take a very clean first point here.
And now they get to try and replicate that speed into the second one. They have a full 7 minutes to work with here, Phoenix. Cool. 7 minutes!
That's a lot of time.
And they're not going to waste any of it either, as they just happen to dive right onto that point. Dr. Mafra will be cleaned up. Shooter McGrath should be DMAC too, and in fact will be. Coalescence is popped up by Lewd Catgirl, trying to find anything back the other way. But I think this push has been stunted, perhaps. Cover motion falling might allow for a re-aggression coming in. Here comes the Brigida ult as well, as they're starting to find, again, some of that positioning on this point. Looking for kills, but Bozit finding in the next one still. Defense is seeming to get most of the kills in this situation.
Yeah, they are starting to just ground out this offense with the amount of sustainability. They're able to hold on just a little bit longer, but they are able to trade a few kills back, so not the most, I guess. Well, they got something out of that at least. They're able to at least charge up some of their ultimates. Sure, they did end up using the rally up, but they get that pretty efficiently as Earthshaders get dropped in a great one defensively from the side of Jersey, able to put a lot of the attacking side onto the floor. Follow-up isn't necessarily there, so they aren't able to follow up not too much, and that means that the Grafton is going to get a lot of value, and the return swing is going to get immense value, as this is going to allow the bot squad to make their way onto the point, and it seemed like it was a great Earthshatter in the defensive side of things, but then they overextended themselves there, Dreamboat.
Sometimes holding W is a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing, and then we just saw the latter of the two there. It's just a bit of a questionable decision that's just kind of left me scratching my head. I mean, they had so much time that they had to burn off. Is it really worth extending all the way out past that choke point, walking through a choke point to engage this team in open space? No, because they just got pinched up back into the choke point and completely annihilated. An absolute baffling decision, to be honest with you, and what? Like, can you even try to explain that to me, Phoenix? Like,
I don't know. It's one of those things where you see an Earthshatter, it drops multiple people to the ground. You're just like, oh, sweet, let's follow up on that, clean them out, and let's play it from there. But they weren't just in a position to follow up on that, but they wanted to make the play so bad that they followed through onto Jersey's play. And as you mentioned, they funneled in and then got completely locked down by that Graviton, and at that point, they were just in over their heads, got cleaned up, and gave so much momentum and room over to the bot squad that they could just walk in and claim the point for themselves, and they have 5 minutes 20 on the clock, when they probably shouldn't have been able to get it that efficiently.
Yeah, it's just been, it was a baffling round, but here's the
bit of
thing.
a rush of blood to the head. I mean, you can understand, you get a good Earth Shatter, the rest of the team's like, oh sweet, let's do this. Maybe that's not the one you want to follow up on.
Well, and here's the thing now. I mean, maybe they were going money or nothing because this is, of course, the bronze game. There is a bronze medal on the line for these teams. And you maybe want to try and sell out because now at 5 minutes 23, their backs are against the wall. They are this close to dropping their title. And we need to see something huge out of Silence right now, Phoenix.
Yep. They need to, just at minimum, complete the full map. They need to go point A and point B. As a great engagement comes in, knocks a lot of the Silence members into the skies, but the rest of the team is scattered all over the place as the Ghost composition is able to just walk their way onto the point with, and on the defensive side, it's a much more different, much more mobile composition coming in for the side of the bot squad. But right off the bat, Vera gets taken down, who is on the Doomfist, but a lot of low members on the bot squad, they are going to drop as well, as Bozart is going to start blasting people down with the Desire, and this could very well be a very quick point A capture here, Dreambo.
So it seems like this server has stopped becoming a server full of Overwatch players and instead just had a couple lightning bolts in or something. Maybe it's sponsored by the Tampa Bay Lightning of the NHL or something, I don't know. Because these are lightning fast pushes in very fast times. They have almost 7 minutes in the bank to do exactly what Bot Squad did to them. And of course, they are going to be getting right on this point as well. Goes straight in, he's got his boys coming in behind him. But it looks like they're actually baiting players into this coalescence, which is very nice. Meteor Strike will pick off Bozet, but he'll be traded back very quickly. As, again, Saltum's found a second kill, and they're going to be getting right back in on this point. 2 picks away, they need to start finding some more. Phoenix, this is working very nice for them.
Yeah, the EMP does get, or hit multiple members, but they're not able to follow up on it all that much as the explosion does come through. Again, nothing really coming of it, and ended up losing some members as it looks like both these teams just kind of forgot how to put up a solid defense, as these offensive side of things have been so solid. Earthshatter puts several to the ground, and it looks like as long as Silence are able to control space well enough, they should be able to secure at least, at minimum, a tick or two here on point B.
There's been a great job by the Hanzo squeaking in behind, getting him off the point, as well as Luke Kakarl delayed for so long there on the Mercy. Now more ults are being used right now to try and delay this out. They've done a really good job. Bozet has fallen now as well, so this is somehow looking good for the defense.
Yeah, well, we say that, but... and then, Cast the Curse, as soon as we say something's going good for a team or a player, all of a sudden things... the wheels start to fall off the carriage, as it is going to be the Moira, the last one on the point. As Silence are going to be able to get it, or get onto the point, secure a tick and a bit. As the defense, they're being very stagnated with their approach to the point, as it looks like Silence, they are being a much more coordinated unit at this point, as the Earthshatter gets popped, does only put down a couple of members on the point, but they do manage to take down Lucio, who can be a very elusive target when we get to these styles of defense, but Silence, they're just so clean here on this offense.
Yeah, they keep cleaning everything up with relative ease. They'll finally get that second tick. But here's the thing. This was a case where on this cap, there was going to be 6.5 minutes left on the clock for Silence. That would have been outrageous and stupid. But that was a very reasonable possibility. 6.5 minutes were what we could have seen on the clock. The delays, the staggering, Bot Squad, they knew they were going to lose it. And at a point, they just kept selling out to delay and delay and delay. So rather than having a minute less than their opponents, they actually come out of it with about 40 seconds more, which it's small, but that could be the very big difference in this game. This could be the difference between bronze and fourth.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, 1 minute, that can be a push, a setup for a push, instead of just rushing in for just a scramble at the point, but it could very well be the big difference, as we do have, yet again, the bot squad are going to be on defense. Let's see if they can do a little bit more this time around, as, well, ideally we do get a result out of this match instead of just a draw.
Yeah, I will have to ask one of the admins. I'm assuming we go to, like, a point of something.
Yeah, I'm assuming there would be a point of control, instead of just, like, well, you have had it like a couple of times throughout this event where it's gone 1-1 and then a draw on the third map, or something similar. So,
Yeah, but
this
unfortunately,
is-
that's for seeding. This is where we start
Yeah.
playing for the championships, the glory that comes with being a Division II bronze medalist. You can hold it over all your peers. It didn't get that far. And now we have the silence push coming straight forward, getting right in onto this point. They are ghosting it out, and they are going deep with it. Seeing if they can't just follow up that great push with another great push of their own. Dr. Mackerel is in there trying to do it as the Diva has been demacked. Both Divas demacked, in fact. But these kills, they need to start going the way of silence. And now Bozit and Jamjar chiming in with the pair. Finally, the rest of these players should start to fall in again. Silence, they can't be stopped. Their offense is rolling with ungodly fluidity as they've managed to roll straight through. Tick 1 is already capped. That Riptire will pick off Jamjar, but they are still brawling out on the point. They are still killing players. They have demacked the Diva. They should clean it up as well. There is a Wrecking Ball in there, but they should clean him up too and get this cap out, Phoenix.
Yeah, well, he's just going to spin his way around the bell. Should end up going down eventually, but he's going to be as annoying as possible right now, as the rest of the team is going to be able to get there in time for the defense, so they aren't going to be able to hold on for just a little bit longer. They haven't gotten any more than just that single tick. Dr. Mackerel does end up falling down in the end, but it has given more than enough time for the rest of the defense to at least stall out for a little bit longer. As we are starting to lose some of the members on defense, but a Nanoboost down onto the Diva is going to help out. The Mech Explosion going to get popped as well, doesn't get anything out of that, but going to get cleaned up. And although it is going to be an eventual capture of point A, they did, as we've been saying, stall out for enough to make it quite worth.
Yeah, they did bleed time nicely, getting it down from, again, a very fast, almost instantaneous push, bleeding in about another minute off the clock. So that's something to keep an eye on, the time of this one. It's not quite impactful yet, but it's starting to get that way as they're getting right back forward. They're going through lower. I like the idea behind this push. Let's see if it works out, Phoenix.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. We do have the Graviton to completely deny the engagement from the defensive team. The mines have been put out, but they're not all on the point, so the offensive side can avoid a lot of it. Here comes a lot of ultimates being invested. The Mech Explosion being popped, and does manage to take out the mech of Shooter McGrav, but it's just trading back and forward of damage. Ultimate's being popped left, right, and center, but a lot of the disruption, a lot of the zone control is being held by Dr. Mackerel on this Wrecking Ball, as the offense hasn't really been able to get too much ground here. They're able to get one, but he got resurrected right away, and with the defender's advantage, could end up being the big difference, as a lot of current controls are still there, but they have a lot of control of space, but they just don't seem to have the damage to kill anyone right now.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the story of both of these teams' offenses. They just do a great job zoning these players. They do a great job focusing them down, and they get these very fast times. Graviton's going to come in, denying any spawners from getting there. Actually, Vero managing to get there on the Reaper delay a little bit. May is, of course, in causing, just May things. And actually a Blizzard will come out. That's going to freeze 3 of them, maybe? No, they actually managed to all escape. Area denial is there. These ults are still coming out, being used by the offense, trying to find these kills, trying to force them off the point, but the time is being bled. Minute 50 left so far for Silence. More ultis on the field, and I think they are finally going to be able to get that second tick up. Not quite again. Finally, it'll be a second tick and quite possibly a third. There is the ham, and he doesn't get to the point, and they cap through. But again, the delays. There's about a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, and that is quite nicely done by Silence. Minute 36. Sorry, I was off by 16 seconds. And I don't know what just happened, but somehow the kill feed just showed me that Shooter McGrath killed everybody. So congratulations, him. Let's hope that's an omen if you're a PPE Bot Squads fan.
Yeah, and they need something like that coming into this next push. They have a little bit more time to work with, but yeah, I don't know. It's all it's going to take is for one team to just put up any kind of defense. A lot of it has just been, as you've been mentioning, stalling. It's just bleeding time. It's not necessarily about holding the point. It's just, if we can just force as much time out of them as possible, maybe we can be a little bit more efficient on our attack than what they have been. And that's pretty much been the name of the game here on Hanamura.
We have 20 seconds left here, Phoenix, before we will start to begin answering the questions that we have. Again, we have Ghost on that Diva, which he has had, like, I cannot state alone how much work he's done on this Diva. Like, it has been insane. I really like what this defense is looking to bring. It's a complete mirror of what the offense is doing. It is the full goats, and nothing but the goats. And they're going to be collapsing right in behind here. I like the idea here. They're being very creative, and they pick off the Brigida very early. This is absolutely sick from Silence.
Yeah, this is what you need to be doing with the goats composition, or against the goats, because you see right here, what's the best way to fight with a goat? It's with another goat. So they just ran them right away and secure themselves at least the first defense of this point.
Don't let this even get a tick, though.
Oh yeah, I think it was eventually realized as they do end up taking care of Shoot 'em a grab, but yeah, just fighting fire with fire, they managed to hold on. As we've been seeing some really weird defenses in the previous rounds, as they do have a Graviton that's going to grab a lot of the defensive side, but they're not able to get anything out of it because the defensive ult was just a little bit too, well, a lot of the sustain, as I just completely lose my tongue there. They just weren't able to get any kills there, so this is the power of the Ghost composition. You just don't die, and you can just ground out teams to a pulp.
And it's going to be continued goats on goats action. You know, no sheep here, just goats, as they are looking to engage right at the front gate, but the Graviton is going to be right there. Diva Bomb as well, they're swinging around. There's going to be a few more ults here, Coalescence on the defense to keep these players alive, but they still do pick up Calsation, the Lucio.
Oh.
And the defense is still finding the rest of these picks. They do a great job splitting the teams, finding these kills, and that's going to be such nice cleanup. They may even get a very late kill onto the Moira, and in fact they do.
This is what we've been needing to see from either of these teams. Just go toe-to-toe with the Ghost composition. Don't try and be fancy with some of the Doomfist, the May, the Wrecking Ball. They've been trying to be a little bit too clever in dealing with the Ghost composition, and then we see here, they're just going to run the exact same composition on defense, and it's getting incredible amounts of... the results have been... completely different, as they are going to be able to hold on to the point for just a little bit longer. Another strong defense coming in for Silence, and they're looking really good here, Dreamboat.
And it's just Calsation still trapped in. He's going to be staggered so late here. Just super detrimental for PP bot squad. They are going to be pulling in an even staggering Vero even later.
Oh.
There's still 3 minutes left on the clock for PP bot squad, but this is things are looking really nice for Silence.
Yeah, and have to see how bot squad do. A lot of it is about how you can combo a lot of your ultimates in dealing with some of the squishy members, because a lot of the time you're not going to be able to take down that front line, especially when you're running the same composition. It doesn't run necessarily the most amount of damage, but what you have needs to be very much pinpoint accurate at the targets you need to take care of. But so far it's just not really landing, as the members are just kind of split on multiple fronts. So the attack is going to start making the way towards the point. They have just traded 1-for-1 so far, but it is going to be a little bit more room over to the side of the bot squad. They are finally able to get the fight to stick, but they have bled a lot of time on this first point.
Calsation just booped 2 people off a cliff. Let that sink in for a moment.
No.
Yep. Sometimes you gotta be hype about those moments. Sometimes you just gotta be deadpan like, yep.
So you just
Just
gotta
did that.
let that one.
Just let that sit there, yeah. But you know what else is sitting there? This defense is sitting on the point, and they're
There goes
getting
the
right
ball.
up in their faces. And down goes Amora, as you mentioned, the Fire Strike coming in, getting a lovely opener pick there now for this defense. Silence still trying to find anything else that they can, and Jershi again getting the kill. Well, Diva as well. Jershi is on fire. He needs one more. Where is that last player? He's not gonna get it. But my oh my, he damn near team killed the team all by his lonesome.
Yeah, and that was a really great start, taking care of the Moira, who is a very decent portion of the amount of healing with this composition, with how her healing comes out. It's incredibly efficient and can be very tough to deal with if you don't deal with the Moira right away, as the Graviton did get swallowed up, so that's a great start to this fight, as the shield is just going to get aimed straight at the roof, able to keep the rest of the team alive as this offense is starting to roll its way through onto the point. The bomb is going to be able to delay just a little bit longer. It actually does get a kill. Again, the Moira going down, it looks like, after what seemed like an okay start to the fight for the bot squad. Silence are going to be able to hold on for just a little bit longer, and now it's less than a minute for the bot squad to secure this point B, because they need to get this whole point to even have a chance at extra rounds.
Yeah, that was a very late stagger, which has caused a bit of a pace change here.
Oh.
And Vero is going to get launched. He takes
no.
a lot of health, but he is cleaned up by motion, getting a headshot with the Lucio boops. And now with 30 seconds left on the clock, it's just starting to get dire for PPE Bot Squad. All the momentum is in the hands of Silence right now as they try and take their bronze medal.
And they are just waiting for the Xayah. They need to have all 6 members there for this one final push. Will they be able to do it? They are very aware of the kind of play coming in, but they are just going to get thrown left, right, and center. Great graviton as they throw so much damage through it, so it looks pretty good, but they're just trading back and forth when it comes to the damage. Sultan does end up going down. That's a lot of healing out of the way on the defensive side, which could be very, very big for the side of Bot Squad. Ultimate's being popped left and center. Everything has to get used here for the side of Bot Squad. They need to take this point, Dreamboat, as
But they need
is just extending.
They have not found anything thus far in this fight. Jersey picking off Dr. Mackerel is massive. This Diva Bomb not going to find anything as well. This offense, they're just not finding the kills. And Luke Cacro and Vero are down. What an earth shatter. That could be it here. And it will be. It forces everybody off the point. And Silence are your bronze medalists for Division 2 of the AAOL.
Really nicely done there. It was a very interesting Hanamura, but when they went back over to the Ghost composition on the defensive side of things, that's when it really looked like they were just far and away just much more solid on that composition. And that's that play you were mentioning, just booping 2 people off with that Lucio, but really well done. Valiant effort from the side of the Bot Squad. Really made Silence work for it, but in the end, it just wasn't enough.
And I mean, what a season it has been here for the AAOL. I mean, and we're not quite done. I mean, we are, but we're not quite. As there are still finals being played later tonight. There will be another game streamed on this channel in just about 20 minutes. But in the meantime, let's break down what happened there, because it became goats versus goats. And it felt to me like Silence was a little bit more coordinated with it. They were just a little bit tighter. They did a better job isolating players. And in the end, that's what had them win it. Just a great job focusing down kills and a great job isolating them.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with the composition, especially when you get into the mirror. It's all about coordination in isolating and picking off targets. And we saw Sans doing that time and time again on those very key members, those supports, where we saw the Moira go down. We saw either the Lucio or the Moira or the Brigitte, who did go down early in a lot of those fights. It was just really nicely done from Sans, just giving themselves that edge up when it came to sustain in the in those very extended engagements, because that's what you do with that composition. There's 3 tanks and 3 supports. No one's gonna die anytime soon, so if you're able to secure a kill right off the bat, you're in an incredible position. And it was just much cleaner play or execution of that composition from the team of Silence.
And you know what time it is. It's time to drop the MVPs. And this is actually a really tough one for me.
Yeah.
There are a few players that did a ton of work.
Yeah, it was quite hard. I mean, as we were mentioning pretty much the entire series, like Ghost on that front line was doing so much work. When he so on the first map of Lead on Tower, his Wrecking Ball play was so good in creating a lot of space, but when he went over to the Diva, that's where he really took it to another level, and to be honest, probably did end up securing the MVP for me.
Yeah, and I mean, not only him though, but a guy that really stands out to me was Jersey. The number of times I kind of, freaked out over some of those Reinhardt plays, doing a great job. Again, with that charge through, picking off a player early. He had that insane fire strike there that picked off the 2K following,
yeah.
like, after he'd already picked someone off with it. He had like a 5K. Some of these players had like solo team kills themselves. Really impressive. And I mean, I do have to give also a shout out to my boy Motion, because he's a Lucio. You don't really get to shout out Lucios much. They don't tend to do like that much standout. So just shout out to
Usually
him.
it's when you get a good sound barrier or you boot people off. That is usually.
He was just kind of
Fair.
there chugging, so shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, to me, it was Jershi and Ghost.
Yeah, like the front line
the
was
tank
just
players doing
incredible.
so much work.
Yeah, they created so much space, and not only just created space, they just picked up kills for themselves, and that it's really hard to deal with a front line if they're not only just staying alive for so long with the help of their supports, but just also just cleaning up a lot of your team. So yeah, that front line from Silence I think was what ended up swinging the favor.
Well, I think that's everything I really will need to say on this one. Congratulations to Silence, your new Division 2 bronze medal champions, knocking off PPE Bot Squad on the third map of this best of 3. That's not all for us at AOE here tonight. It's all for me here tonight. Me and you, Phoenix. We are done now. But there will be another game streamed tonight at 8:30. So that's in about 15 minutes. I'm just trying to find. I'm looking everywhere I can. I'm in so many different channels. Where is it? It is Wollongong Typhoon versus NG Sharks. Will be on one of the channels, and that's the Div 8 finals, as well as Shiki's Harem versus Raza and the Lads. I believe that's going to be on this channel. It's going to be also at 8:30, which is the Div 7 final. So tune in for those games on either AOE Sports or AOE Sports 2, and enjoy the sounds of Peronius, Racket, and then Tusky and Pinky MacGyver casting. And I have been Dreamboat. You can be following Twitter at Dreamboat Casts. You can give Phoenix, my boy, a follow at GLPhoenix_. Especially follow us if you run the Vancouver Overwatch League team, because I'm from BC. But Phoenix, it's over.
It's been a good season.
Is there any thoughts you wanted to have, or any shout outs you want to give for the entirety of your AOE experience so far?
This has just been a very fun event. It's not well. There's been quite a few events when it comes to Overwatch, but this one has just been nice. The whole atmosphere has been quite laid back. It's been very nicely done, and just been a lot of fun. There's been some great Overwatch. Just looking forward to seeing more events coming out in the future.
Of course, this was season 4, and you know what that means, Phoenix. Season 5 is going to be right around the corner. I hope to be back, mainly because I hope to continue casting with you, because that honestly was a revelation in and of itself. But yeah, so stay tuned for this channel. You'll see more Overwatch tonight, and of course, you'll also see more of me and Phoenix in the future. You'll see Phoenix tomorrow for Rise Up.
I believe so, yeah.
So make sure to tune in then as well. Have a great evening, everyone. Drive safe, and congratulations to Team Silence.